When I think about a gentleman, I usually think of a British guy, but in this case, it's an American? I'm trying a personal challenge and trying not to touch my hair for the entirety of the video. Let's see how many times it happens. Hey, it's Zadie and you are watching my channel Flytte Kartina. It's spelled Flyttekartina. I almost forgot how to spell my own channel name. The meaning behind that name, you can ask me. It's actually, it's two different words in two different foreign languages, and they combine to make the word movie. I thought it was fun, and I'm stuck with it now, so it's great. So today I'm going to do a movie review on the movie The Gentleman, written and directed by Guy Ritchie, I'm pretty sure. Yep, written and directed by Guy Ritchie, and it stars Matthew McConaughey and a lot of other big names, like... Anyways, this plot is so... confusing, I guess would be the right word. It's just hard to explain in general. It's like one of those movies that you're just like, well, you just gotta see it to understand it. It's one of those movies. But essentially, this American man in England is trying to sell his marijuana business to another Englishman who is also an American. And you're probably thinking what I thought when I walked into the movie, and you're thinking it's an American who is trying to make his way in Britain. But it doesn't play out that way at all, actually. They don't even mention the fact that he's an American or discriminate against him because he's American. Yes, they mention it a couple of times, but it's not like they force it down your throat like America's better than Britain because we infiltrated your government. No, it's not like that at all, actually. It's really subtle, and there's a lot of subtleties and subplots and a lot of things in this that you cannot understand unless you see the entire movie at least twice. And that's something that I would recommend. I would recommend seeing it twice just to understand all of the different nuances and subplots that are happening. You can see it once, I just saw it once, and it was a fantastic time. Okay, so this may be an unpopular opinion, but the way that Guy Ritchie wrote this movie, and the dialogue at least, it just reminded me of a Tarantino film. This film plays out like it's a novel. It's so much dialogue and heavily reliant on flowery and beautiful language that Guy Ritchie has described and, you know, given to the actors, and they deliver it in such a good way, actually. Matthew McConaughey does an amazing job in this. I really enjoyed his part in this. Charlie Hunnam, whose work I'm not very familiar with, did a great time in this, and then Hugh Grant. The dialogue between the two actors is just so fun and fast and quick and beautiful, actually. Some of the plot does get lost. You do get lost. I will admit, I was literally, during the first act, I was like, what's happening? Like, I was grasping at everything and every kind of information, which is probably what he wanted in the beginning. But I was just grasping at all the information and trying to take it in, organize it and analyze it and understand, but they kept moving so fast that I was like, wait, what? What does this person has to do with anything? And I sincerely believe that this is a work of art. For a January movie, this movie is amazing. It's one of the better January movies I've seen. There's a lot going on in this movie, but it just kind of throws you for a loop and does everything on purpose. A couple of weak points that I noticed in this is that they kind of just relied a little bit too much on dialogue for the story to take place. Some of the things are like, I'm like, you could have made this maybe 20 minutes shorter and everything would have been like just as great and still amazing. And the cinematography in this, oh my goodness, they do things with reflections that are amazing. I don't know if it was on purpose. I know it was on purpose, but there are reflections in Hugh Grant's glasses. He wears glasses, and most of the time they're reflecting off of something and hiding his eyes, and it's kind of like that one thing in The Godfather where the Godfather's eyes are always shadowed. But that was just so cool. This movie's also very meta in the sense that it knows that it's a movie and it's trying to also be a movie itself. Hugh Grant's character is trying to pitch a script to Charlie Hunnam's character, and you know, they're just, you know, going back and forth, and he's talking about all the cinematography and everything and what kind of things that he's trying to do, which is what Guy Ritchie is doing in the actual movie and how the story is playing out. And at the end of this movie, Hugh Grant's character pitches his script to a movie producer in the Miramax offices. And in the background you can see the man from U.N.C.L.E. Another thing, okay, so this movie is violent, there's language, there's like nothing holding Guy Ritchie back in this movie at all. Okay, I have to talk about the violence because the violence is there, but they did it in such a beautiful way that you're anticipating violence and then there's no violence, and then then there's violence when you're not anticipating it, which is just a beautiful dance between everything. And they're gentlemen. They don't actually like draw blood when they're fighting. They draw blood with words. They fight with words. They don't fight with actual weapons, which is so cool. I think it's much more creative to do that kind of dance than to just, you know, have guns firing off everywhere and just looking at the cinematography of the shooting scenes, but which are sometimes great and amazing, but sometimes I think we rely a little bit too much on shootouts and stuff like that to further a plot along. And Guy Ritchie doesn't do that at all in his movie. He introduces weapons that are used later, but he also introduces weapons and then doesn't use them at all. Hugh Grant is telling a story throughout the entire plot, and so he finesses with some details, and Charlie Hunnam's character just like rewinds the tape and like plays it back in real time of how it actually happened. It's so cool. I'm in love with this movie and I need to see it a couple of more times. So to answer your question, if I would see it in the theaters, buy it, or rent it, I would definitely see it in theaters. I would see it in theaters. I think it's a great theater experience to see everything on the huge screen and just be totally invested in that dark room with the huge speakers and the big silver screen. But I would also buy it to enjoy forever for the rest of my years as on this earth. So the question of this week is, what is your favorite Guy Ritchie directed film? Is it Aladdin? Because I hope it's not, but if it is, let me know in the comments down below. But before you scroll all the way down, I want you to hit 3 buttons: the like button, subscribe button, and the bell notification. The like button lets me know that you like this video and want me to create more movie reviews. The subscribe button lets me know that you really like my channel overall and it encourages me to create more content. And the third button is the bell notification icon, where you are one of the first people to know when I upload a new video, and that's every Thursday. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great random Thursday. I will see you on the other side of the screen.